welcoming you back to the desk of Caddicarus. Join us as we partake into a new instalment of Current Quickies.
Hello, my duckies, and this time we'll be having a look at No Man's Sky on PS4. Q. This game is immensely interesting, but that's kind of it, really. It has lots of amazing moments, but that's all that they really are. So, can I recommend it fully on that front? Well, let's sit back and find out on my thoughts on the PS4 edition of No Man's Sky. Let's go!
First of all, I'm sorry I'm a little bit late to the party. We're talking about this game, but to be honest, I didn't want to listen to all the videos talking about it literally a day after the game came out. Instead, I wanted to give it time, play it over the course of a few days, so I came back to it with a fresh head on a daily basis, and maybe see something here that other people didn't. But I'd like to start with technicalities, so I will say that for a milestone, the game is unbelievable, and I can honestly look past some of the cardboard grass graphics and 30 FPS for the sake of the scale of the game and how it accomplishes it. All you need to do is free fly mode around the universe map to see every single system in which multiple planets exist, and that is enough to make you truly realize what this game is going for. With the procedural generation, the game is exactly what it is for each individual player, and the sheer size and realism it goes for creates an atmosphere I haven't yet seen in a game with space exploration in it. It succeeds in making you feel so tiny and insignificant, it's almost frightening. If you want a game that solely captures the feeling of space adventuring, discovering new things constantly and letting you be the full driving force as you control takeoffs, landings, atmosphere piercing, and then coming back into space only to turn around and see the giant landscape you just left behind, then you will adore this game, because I have to say I adore that aspect of it. It's exactly like all of those pictures of space I used to stare at as a kid, and there's no bullshit here. There's realistic times and distances between things, fucking amazing scenery with brilliant atmospheric music for each planet, and no blank loading screens into other areas. Even if the game needs to load something through a warp drive or something, it still feels like you're truly making happen what you see in it is truly magical. Unfortunately, when I got footage for this game, I actually missed out on one of my absolute favorite areas I found, which was actually a moon with tons of flora, fauna, green hills, and water. And since it was a moon, the planet and its shimmering yellow atmosphere was always on the horizon against the creamy dark blue sky and millions of stars, and it was captivating just to stay in it and find as much as I could. I absolutely loved it, and I wanted to go back for you all to see it, but then it would have taken me hours to reach it again, so fucked if I was doing that. So I just took some pictures from Kotaku, App Trigger, and Game Facts to illustrate what kind of place I found. And yes, I know everyone has said this already, so I'm not saying anything new here, but when everyone said the beginning of this game was amazing, I wouldn't have said the first 2 hours were the best as you learn the mechanics and rebuild your ship to start with. My favorite part of this game were the first 5 to 6 hours. The beginning is mysterious and mystical, yes, but I personally think that the second the universe opens up to you is where it becomes truly engaging. Finding the new planets was enthralling, along with discovering new species and learning the languages through stones on each planet, crafting new technology for your weapon, suit, and ship with elements you find on each planet, and with the exploration rewarding you constantly for not just crafting things and keeping everything you have running smoothly, but also giving you brief puzzles from other aliens that are much easier to figure out if you know the language and elements to sort it out, or letting you find hidden caves of ultra rare materials to sell off. Then once you use intuition and no guidelines to figure out that there's more to this game than just surviving and crafting and it becoming a game about possibly discovering the origin of life or finding out what's at the center of the universe, everything goes insane, and the drive for me to keep going was at an all-time high for, like I said, the first 6 hours or so, which is backed up again by the journey milestones you accomplish by just playing the game and increasing star meters on particular characteristics, which are then used against conversation, since it's your experience with the world as well as what you find and learn with other languages that life forms take into account, therefore increasing your chances of being friends with every species and getting more benefits from them but costs from others. It's so cool how each little interaction and everything you do weaves into each other somehow. Whenever you come across deposits of essential materials or abandoned huts with ultra rare and strong tech for you to craft, and whenever you return to the safe yet endlessly huge space stations to trade, meet more travelers and merchants, and solve more tiny puzzles for more rewards and scan new life forms for credit bonuses, everything makes it feel like it could be one of the best games of the year. But then the repetition sinks in, and this is where everything, and I mean everything, dies off. After a few hours, I ended up with 2 quests: reach the center of the earth or follow the Atlas path to discover the origin of life. And with the procedural generation and everything, I felt like I was truly on my own personal quest in the vast sky of endless possibilities. Then everything slowed down after I realized that everything is the damn same. No matter how many planets you find and systems you explore, every planet acts in the same way. A means for you to find the exact same shit in which you craft the exact same shit to keep the exact same shit functioning and power the exact same shit to travel further away from where you started in order to do the exact same shit over and over again. Every planet may be visually unique but fundamentally behave identically. Even the passive or aggressive creatures you find behave in the same way no matter what their size. Either attack them to stay alive or you feed them and they get happy and take you to a rare item. And in the case of space stations, every one of them not only functions the same way for trading and such, but also looks exactly the same way and are strangely enough built exactly the same way. And once you realize this only to figure out you have potentially months upon months worth of game to get through, the whole experience crumbles into a sea of emptiness and no depth. This isn't helped by the combat, which tries to spice things up yet unfortunately fails in its stiffness, clunky random intervals that catch you off guard, and in the case of space battles, they are slow and unbelievably frustrating with no ability to escape effectively, and if you haven't got a decent ship, means doom 80% of the time. It was so frustrating in fact that my time in the game was spent looking for bargains on bigger, better ships in order to simply survive while in space, and my weapons for the ground did have useful tech to speed up mining process or increase damage output, but ultimately are such subtle differences to such a flat combat system that I ignored crafting any tech for my weapon and wasting space and focused entirely on my ship, which was unfortunately more than essential. Oh, and for a game about crafting to upgrade and stay alive, the one fatal flaw that wrecks this gameplay's flow and makes it more annoying than anything is the clumsy UI and inventory system. Once you get the hang of everything, yes, it's not too bad and you can find upgrades to your suit as you explore. Again, exploration is rewarded here, but that means absolutely nothing when you still have no space to do anything. The game starts to not become a game about balancing and resource management because you need different elements for different essential things constantly in order to simply stay alive, along with needing other random things for essential crafting upgrades when needed. And with the pitiful space you have to work with, it just doesn't work. Dropping things in order to craft something vital, or removing the rarest item you have because you're minutes away from potential death and you have no room in your suit or spaceship to keep everything and you need one particular thing just to recharge your life, then you often find yourself completely leaving things behind and ignoring everything and finding one particular thing to progress for minutes on end, which you then can't do because life support and landing thrusters and guns need recharging and you haven't got the space to do it at all, and God forbid you upgrade your suit to resist different weather conditions because yeah, they work, but for one crucial slot to be taken away for one environmental repellent which just slows down inevitable danger is not worth it. For a game so focused on crafting, yes, the inventory is broken and pathetic. So summing up, No Man's Sky absolutely has sparks and portions of brilliance, but that's all they amount to. The beginning few hours, exploration and mechanic introductions with aliens and intriguing well-written text boxes were absolutely magical, yet the other imbalanced mechanics and sheer repetition sinks it heavily. It's a game that bit off way more than it could chew, and unless there's more variety and tightening with what it has now, as it stands, if you want to play a first-person generated survival game about crafting and building things, but with endless more possibilities, constantly evolving gameplay, a little bit more exciting combat, elements of fear and wonder, underground and overground exploration, better music, and a way cheaper price done years ago, Minecraft is the game for you. Or Terraria, that also does it better, and that's on a fucking 2D plane.
So, I'm gonna give No Man's Sky a 5 out of 10. Do I think it's worth it for those first few hours? Well, if you're a little bit cheaper, abso-fucking-lately, it's amazing, but everything else around it is just so messy that games that have been done like this from years before have done it a lot better. So, I'm sorry, Hello Games, but you lost me after about 11 hours of play. Phew.
Ay, 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 ay.